Well, this morning we are delighted to welcome back Reverend Laura Bennett, who's a well-known friend of the Center for Universal Oneness. And her topic today is the healthy habits of holiness. And Laura is a minister of the online ministry called Unity of the Heartmind. She hosts a daily video series called Today's Heartlines, and she's also a faculty member of the Unity Urban Ministerial School. She's an author and is currently working on a doctorate in spirituality, and she's a spiritual coach, a musician, a composer, and a lover of nature. And I think she's also a cat lover. So,
Oh yeah. In fact, she's right here to my right. She has her little bed area on my desk. Yeah.
welcome back,
Hey,
Laura.
Thank you. So good to see everyone. Happy Father's Day. I celebrate. I thank. With a full heart, I thank each of the fathers for what you have done in this life. And I just have I do this whenever I get the opportunity, and I'm honored to be with you on Father's Day today. Whenever I get the opportunity to do this, on Father's Day, I do this. I ask, okay, and raise your hand, and if you are if you're not live, if your image isn't live, don't worry about it. But raise your hand if you're a great grandfather. Anybody a great grandfather here? Okay. My husband downstairs is a great grandfather. Um, and
I'm raising my hand for Bill.
Okay, good, good, good. Yeah, I remember the first time I did this in church, and Larry was out there, and I was making fun of him for being a great grandfather, and somebody said, "Well, what does that make you?" so so yeah, so congratulations, great grandfathers. Grandfathers, raise your hands. Yay, grandfathers. Yep. Congratulations. And fathers. Good. Now here's one for you, male or female. And you have to think about this. Father figures. Anybody who's been a father figure. One very strong father figure in Unity, thank you, Tim, was Myrtle Fillmore. And I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. Just as motherhood qualities are shared with men, fatherhood qualities are shared with women too, because they're universal qualities. They're universal. It's just that they show up more in certain roles in life. So yeah, but I just truly honor each of the fathers. Yours is a unique path. Uh, and when it came to if you raised children, when it came to raising your children, um, it was a very loving, unconditional thing to do. You may not know it, but it certainly was. Or if you, oh yes, 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 and raise your hand if you've ever had a father. There you go. There you go. Yeah. So happy Father's Day to all of us. And beloved fathers who are with us and those who have moved on to the next existence are in our hearts today. Okay. I Kyle, should I do it or should you do it? The slideshow.
the images never showed up on mine, so
Okay. Okay, so if you all will bear with me for a minute while I click my share here and get to the right place on the slideshow. Let's see. Yeah, oh, there's my share. Okay. Share. Uh, I don't have the opportunity to share, or let me see if I do. Yeah, I don't have a
here,
share. It
try
didn't.
try again. I just
Okay.
remade you co-host.
Okay. Ah, there we are. All right. And there is our slides. There are our slides. And I'm going to do the give me a moment. I'll find that slide. Well, from slide. There should be something. Oops, there should. Sorry.
If you go to,
Slideshow. There
yeah,
it is. Slideshow. Yeah, from beginning. That should be it. There we go. How's that for everyone? Does that work? All right. So happy solstice. I believe it was 3:24 a.m. That the Earth stopped leaning its northern hemisphere toward the sun and started tilting back, which means the sun started heading south and the days will be getting shorter. But they won't be getting cooler for quite some time because the Earth is nice and warmed up in the northern hemisphere. Okay, and it is the first day of summer. So happy summer solstice here in the northern hemisphere. All right, and happy Father's Day. Whether you're young and have a young one, or you've been here a few decades, as most all of us have, and if you get to be around little ones, it's a joy. But it just is a great image. It is. What were you saying, Doug, about fathers being nurturing? So there you go. It's just a wonderful, wonderful image, because anyone who has found themselves in a position of sharing those fatherhood qualities is a father figure. But truly our fathers who, for whom we, how can I say it, are grateful, because, hey, we would not be here without them. We honor them today. All right. So characteristics of those, I'm going to move our face images there. Okay. Characteristics of fatherly love. Giving expression to the divine through whatever form the father figure takes. Being present, showing up for someone, being present to them. And we talked about protection and provision. That is a very typical assumed characteristic of fathers, and it truly is more. It's more than protecting the safety or the the physical safety of a young one or of someone who could not otherwise do it for themselves. But it's also protecting each other's dignity and humanity and divinity. In other words, their full self-expression. It's actually, and that's what that's one of the things my dad did for me. He really coached me and coaxed me along to my own full self-expression. Even though I followed pretty directly in his footsteps. I became a minister like him. I became a Bible teacher like him. But he actually, because of what he gave me to be an independent and strong individual, I did it my way. Yeah, and when I first went into ministerial school, people were saying, "There goes Paul Barrett's daughter." And then after I'd been in ministry for a while, and my dad was around, they'd say, "Oh, there's Laura Barrett's father." Okay, so, but isn't that the way of fatherhood? Isn't that what you provide? You provide for a person being themselves and learning how to do that through life. And that takes guidance and teaching. It takes discipline balanced with grace. And discipline is not, getting out oh gosh, how many of you remember the paddle in the classroom? Yep. It's that's not what we mean by discipline. Discipline is actually, the word disciple comes from discipline. It's actually again, a strong self-accountability. And it's training someone to be accountable for themselves, and to recognize that what they do and what they speak has a response, consequences. As we teach in Unity with the metaphysics, every action has an equal and opposite reaction. That's one of our principles that we teach. So yeah, discipline, but you blend it with grace. You have fun. You lighten up when it's time to lighten up. You forgive when it's time to forgive. And this is something, again, we can all do, whether we have been a father or we are thinking of a father. And evolving commitment. Evolving commitment. In other words, steadfast love that evolves with the person you love. Steadfast love that evolves with the person you love. So, a rather idealistic image that some of us may feel either our fathers didn't live up to fully or we didn't live up to fully. But part of the holiness of fatherhood is allowing fathers to be whole. And that means allowing both for the successes and the failures. And that is something we can all have in our hearts when we think of our fathers. Okay. And when we do, we have the presence of holiness. Whenever we allow something to be wholly and completely itself, or someone to be wholly and completely themselves, the presence of wholeness or holiness comes in. And we see life from the mountaintop. Yeah, had to throw in that mountain image there. Okay, so our place as loving father figures for the world today is the same. Be present to each other. Protect and provide for the dignity and equality and respect of each other. Guide and teach what we know, share our gifts, and be receptive to the gifts of others. Discipline, hold people to account, but do so with grace, do so with love. And then evolving commitment, steadfast love that doesn't give up on others. Okay, and now that is the presence of holiness with each other. And that is what we share with our world. And that's what we can bear in mind, especially today, these days. All right, now, the world today. War and peace, okay? We see the news of war on the TV every day. I called it in one of my Heartlines, I called it the war that is not a war, because our officials were not calling it a war, but it was a war. They talked about it when they described it, they said war, but when they officially named it, it's not a war. It was a conflict, or it was something else. So I called it the war that is not a war going on in the Middle East, and it's still happening so long as Israel fires on Lebanon and vice versa. It is still happening. We have the war in Ukraine. And something that we don't see on the news very much is the civil war in Sudan, and the difficulty people are having there. But it seems at almost any given point in time in world history, there is conflict somewhere in the world. And of course, there's been some in Asia. There's the threat of that's going on with, is it oh, I can't think of it. But anyway, there's been some border disputes over in Asia. And yet we also have the underlying peace. We have the peace of every day when the sun comes up. We have the peace in many countries that experience peace. We have the peace that we develop in our own relationships, and we are always dancing between those two things, even in ourselves, as I'm going to talk about shortly. We have division and unity. Division and unity. Do I need to say much about division in this country? Okay. Unity. That's been the theme of the World Cup. You know, one world, one fire in our hearts, one world. That's been the theme. And oppression and freedom, and we've seen that happening. We saw it happen in Minneapolis earlier this year, and it drew our attention to where people are experiencing oppression in our own country here in the U.S. And the freedom as a principle and as something we all stand for, along the lines of our headlines. You know, they had the Obama Center dedicated, and it's really dedicated to that growth and that equality and the strength of the individual. So there's a sense of freedom there. We have poverty and prosperity. We have the gap between the 1% and the people who are impoverished and struggling just to pay for their groceries or gas. But we also have the opportunity to know where our source is. And how can we do that, in a practical way in these times? Well, if the Unity founders were able to do it through the Depression, and they did a great job of it, we can practice those prosperity principles ourselves, starting with acknowledging what is it? God is my instant, constant, and abundant source of supply. And then destruction and renewal. For everything that has been destroyed in war or in any other way, through natural disaster even, there is an opportunity for renewal, allowing ourselves to grieve what was lost, and in that grief find greater compassion and love and joy in the present moment that we have before us, and build from there. Okay, so here's Myrtle Fillmore, one of Unity's father figures, just as Charles Fillmore is one of Unity's mother figures. And Myrtle Fillmore was very disciplined and very protective. I know this because I would talk with Rosemary Fillmore Ray at times, and she would talk about, how she's read her grandmother's letters, and people who would be whining and fussing about life, she would write back and say, now see here, the more you focus on this, she said, don't deny it, but the more you focus on it, the more it's going to take over your life. She would be very firm in her communication. Plus, she did not like working in the kitchen. The house built for her on Unity grounds was built without a kitchen because she refused to go into the kitchen. So she had very masculine qualities that most people in Unity don't focus on because she was a she. But she certainly had them. Okay. So I would like a couple of readers, one for this slide and one for the next slide. So you can just jump in and start reading. I'm watching the time over here. You can just jump in and start reading. Who would like to read?
I will.
Okay, thank you, Joe.
From Myrtle Fillmore, great unrest comes from lack of holiness. We seem to be divided into fractions and sections. We give one part of our minds to one thing and another part of our minds to another. And always within us is a longing for something higher, an unrest because we are not satisfied with life as it seems to us. The psalmist conceived the right idea of life in its fullness and completeness when he said, I shall be satisfied when I awake with thy likeness.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Joe. Yeah. And another gentleman. I'd like another gentleman to read Myrtle's words here. Who would like to read?
I'm happy to.
Thank you.
Fillmore continued. That likeness now slumbers in us as the seed in the earth. It is the something that is always urging us to better things. It is that within us which wants something more than the outer activities of life. We never shall be satisfied until we find ourselves. It is this restlessness that accounts for all the error we find in the outer.
Okay, thank you. So when we have the division and the difficulty in the outer, Myrtle is pointing to what we carry within ourselves as the healing of the planet, the healing of humanity will come from our inner work, because our inner work will then guide us in what to do and be in the outer. It is this restlessness that accounts for all the error we find in the outer. But this urging within us, which wants something more, that's a very assertive way of being. That divine audacity that one of our great Unity authors wrote about. Okay. And other terms for holiness then, fullness of which Myrtle spoke, completeness, being, if we don't feel complete in ourselves, then let's be complete with feeling incomplete. Let's just acknowledge, okay, I have this feeling about myself, but I am still whole. I am whole. Wholeness. And wholeness doesn't leave out part of who we are. It includes all of our feelings. We are greater than all of the feelings combined. When we allow the yin and the yang of us to come together, it transcends both. Holistic. We are spirit, mind, heart, body, and each other. Social being. And then healthy. Healthy is remembering our wholeness. And there are some things we can do from our inner physician, from the Christ within, there we go, healthy habits of holiness. Guess what? Diet, exercise, and rest. Coaching from the Holy Father within. And then I had a little fun. I said, not the Pope, and gender-free, the Holy Father within. All right. Excuse me. I'm going to shut my door because the TV volume downstairs just went up. I'll be right with you in a second. There. Okay. All right. So we start with the truth diet. Recipe for a truth sandwich. How many of us have ever heard of a truth sandwich? Oh gosh, I'm trying to remember the fellow's name, but it was created by a professor at Berkeley, and it was an examination of what's happening in our world in a way that we can communicate it with each other without make wrong, without making somebody wrong, but also being very clear as to exactly what the truth is, meaning the truth that aligns with facts. And one of the things I said is truth is that thing when your inner sense of truth, of what's true and authentic, lines up with the facts of the world. Then you have a truth in the world. When your inner sense of truth lines up with the facts of truth in the world. Now that can happen because you hold to the truth and then it manifests in the world, or it can happen in looking at what is happening in the world honestly and discerning what it is that lines up with what you value within. Again, that same kind of sense of all of us being divine beings, all of us being born of spirit, all of us having that equal nature, all of us having that respect from, well, actually all of us giving that respect to each other, that kind of respect to each other. Okay. So the truth sandwich, when you're looking at something in the world, and when I did it on my Heartlines, I did it with, what did I do it with? I don't even remember what I did it with, but you actually have a bottom layer, your bottom piece of bread is to state the facts in a positive way that can be easily remembered. State the facts in a positive way that can be easily remembered. Then you speak to the falsehood that's been stated. Oh, I remember. I remember. And forgive me if your truth tells you that it was the election process. It was the election process. I examined the accusations that there is great falsehood in our elections. And I said, when you look at the truth, okay, so the truth is that our election process has been and was at that time in California, a valid process that had been practiced a long time, and had. And then you state the falsehood that our elections are corrupt and cheat. We have a cheating mindset when it comes to our elections. You state that, okay, that has been stated. But again, let's look at the details of the facts. The top layer is then restate the truth in light of the facts that support it. And the facts are that things have been examined and re-examined, counted and recounted, taken to multiple courts, and the decision had been made that there's no evidence here of mass corruption. So that's what I did on the Heartlines, and I did that because I really don't want to make anybody wrong, but I do want us to be clear on what the truth is in our daily lives. And you can apply that politically like that, or you can apply it spiritually. What is happening in my life? What is happening in my body? I'm challenged with something in my body. So the bottom layer of truth is, yes, I am whole. The falsehood is that anything can remove my wholeness from me. The top layer is, what are the facts that are going on with my health, and that I am able to respond to. There's a more spiritual take on it. Okay. By the way, that when I did that truth sandwich, it was one of the most popular videos I had done. And I tend to try to stay away from politics, but when I do hit on them, I won't say unintentionally, but when I do that hesitantly, It's a very popular thing, but I didn't continue with political direction after that because I don't feel right about being a spiritual leader, teaching people how to be political, except to say what truth is, what we value as human beings, which is that equality of each other. Okay, spiritual exercise. Spiritual exercise. Breathe. The breath has been equated with the presence of spirit in the body since ancient times. It is this spirit of life that gives existence and life to life. So is the spirit, that's how people could tell, is the spirit in the body? Well, is there breath? Even when that breath is being supported by machinery. You know, I've watched a number of people in their transition times. And when the body stops breathing sometimes and the machine keeps going, I've walked them through that in prayerfully, that transition. When they remove the machinery and when the families decided to let them go. All right, devotional music, and it really is a release. It is. It's a very powerfully emotional time, and I'm sure most everyone here has experienced it in one way or another with a loved one or friend. All right, devotional music or chanting. The heart is always singing. The vibration of prayer in the form of music crumbles away the encrusted layers of protection around the heart so that its song resonates through the body and sends its harmonizing waves into the world. Yeah. And walking in nature. This is the movement that enhances the breath and exercises the body in an environment that renders the feeling of an immanent and universal presence greater than oneself. Okay. So when you're out in nature, you get a sense of that which is greater than you know yourself to be. Whether it's a beautiful view or the bird song or just seeing some wildlife or a hawk in flight or an eagle. Yeah. And meditative rest, devotional prayer, the prayer of pure, unadulterated love for the divine as your beloved. So one of our unity chants, and you can call God whatever you call God, but is, oh my God, how I love thee, how I love thee, how I love thee. Oh my God, how I love thee, how I love thee, my God. We call it the God chant. And forgiveness. God does not forgive. Did you know that? You've never been forgiven by God. You've just simply recognized the presence of God as forgiveness within you. So it's okay to say, forgive me, God. That's okay, because that's one way you have of opening up yourself to the presence of forgiveness that's already there. God does not forgive. God is forgiveness. Forgiveness is the cleansing power of divine love pouring through the soul and washing away all unhealthy thoughts or attachments so that God is all that is left, or the divine or spirit. It takes place when human beings forgive human beings for being human. Forgiveness takes place at the human level when human beings forgive human beings for being human. And isn't that what we forgive human beings for? For being human. Mindful stillness is focus on the breath and be still. That's it. Mindful stillness. There's no guided meditation in mindful stillness. It's just notice the breath. Notice the breath and be still. And here is your meditation prescription. I think that was something I said I would do, is share with you how to write your own meditation prescription. There's medication and then there is meditation. So you are your own spiritual physician. So you discern, take how many meditations a day. I used to take 3 a day for 20 minutes. I used to, before meals. 3 a day for 20 minutes before meals. That's a good example. Now I take 1 a day. I do 1 a day after breakfast. But take how many meditations a day before or after whatever activity for however many minutes. Or when you are beginning a project, you know, that pause for 5 minutes to pray it in. And as needed throughout the day, as long as the moment allows. And it doesn't have to be much. If you are getting that tension, if you are getting that scattered feeling, pause, breathe. And there you have it. You've just done your meditation. So there's your meditation prescription for yourself. And we'll talk a little bit about our meditation prescriptions. We can share them with each other after the service here. Okay. Oh, I don't want to play that just yet. We're going to have our meditation right now, and I'll play that shortly. In moments of mindful stillness. And I'm watching the time. So let's be mindfully still. Let's pause right now. Take a deep breath and close our eyes. And just notice your breath. Watch your breath. I don't know if you hear my husband. His voice does carry. He's talking on the phone right now. But if you hear that voice, just include it. If you don't, that's good. But just notice the breath, breathing in and out. And be still and know that I am. And once again, take a deep breath. And begin to feel the breath throughout your body. Breathe in and feel it go down to your solar plexus. Breathe in and feel it go down your arms to your fingertips. Breathe in one more time and feel it go down to your feet, to the tips of your toes. Breathe in one more time and feel the breath of life fill your mind and relax your shoulders. And when you are ready, start to open your eyes and let the light in. And look at your environment with soft eyes and pure awareness. And so it is. And we'll let Gary Lynn Floyd bring us out. Thank you for, again, this honor.
I hope you can stick around for coffee talk after our completion of service so folks can have a chance to interact with you about your ideas.
I will be here.
Great. And let us move on then to our end of recording.